Okay. Today is January 23rd. It is a Sunday. And I am in Tucson, Arizona. And, you know, I have a mask right here, which lets me show my dominance for ASU forks up. And so if I do end up walking around the area a little bit more, then
people will.
I will make sure it is known. I was planning on wearing an ASU hoodie as well, but I didn't want to be too rude. Anyways, I am also here with Chargul. Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's such an honor to be here. I can't believe I'm sitting here. It's insane.
Yeah, you are now officially the second guest on VidADay.
You know what to say, first is the worst, second is the best.
Precisely, and third gets the hairy chest. So
yeah, everything
whoever's
else after second is the best. Doesn't matter.
I am so sorry for you. Probably someone who's going to be a regular. And so I am very glad to have you here.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
Let's start with, why am I here first?
So you are here.
Yes.
Because.
So why are you here?
Oh,
and then
why
that leads
are
into
you
why
here?
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, I am here because I got a call back for University of Arizona to audition for the musical theater program. So I did that today. I did my dance audition, then my acting singing audition. Dance audition was less than great.
Okay.
We did the combo once, and I was here. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4. I was 2, and then we switched lines and we did it again. And the second time, I totally forgot the dance for the first half.
Okay.
Totally forgot what was happening. I got it back together. I stitched it back up for the second half. But
glad to hear that.
oh well, what's done is done.
What's done is
done.
done.
They have my resume. They know I'm not bad.
Yeah, and you do have an incredible history in dance and performing arts.
So it's not just like everything goes out the window.
Of course.
So that's good. And then
and this is also for a callback, so
yeah,
they want to see you again. They remember you.
Me.
Yeah, they noticed you.
Exactly. So that's good. And then my acting singing one went very well. And then I got back, and Hans was like, "Hey, I'm coming to visit you." I said, "Perfect. That's great." And we did his nails.
Yes. Look at this. They're awesome. They're so cool. I love it. And she also taught me how to do this now. And
you got it. I believe in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they've dried up by now, which is awesome. If I don't end up learning and she does just end up coming here for school, it's only an hour and a half drive.
Exactly. It's like every 2 weeks you're going to come and get your
Exactly.
nails done. Yeah, I believe it.
To be fair, New York trip was already 3 weeks ago. Well, 2.5 weeks for New York specifically. And they stayed on so well.
Yeah. Well,
I did a good job.
Yes, JC's flower on his thumb is still hanging on. It's hanging on for dear life.
Until today, my right thumb was only starting to show that it was going to fall off.
Yeah.
But we're here now, and these are done. They're beautiful, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. I love it. It's so fun.
Worth it. So now that that's out of the way.
Now that that's over.
Let's just talk. I have a few questions.
Okay, of course. I'd love to answer them.
Are you familiar with the Mandela effect?
Of course.
Okay. I didn't know where I was going with that. Do you have a favorite? Or do you have one that irks you so much?
I do, but I can't think of it right now.
Okay.
I feel like everyone that comes up, I'm like, I think it might be the Pikachu one. Where his tail is like, has like a stripe on it or something, or like something on it.
Right, the black stripe?
Yeah. I remember that. I
do
remember
too.
that. The Chick-fil-A one too, how it's
Chick-fil-A,
spelled.
which one? Excuse me.
I think it's like something that Chick-fil-A was spelled differently than it is.
How do you think it's spelled right now?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick, how's chick spelled?
C-H-I-C-K.
Okay. And the alternative, I assume,
Was
is
C-H-I-K.
C-H-I-K.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Makes you wonder.
Makes
you think.
you wonder.
Have you heard of the Fruit Loops one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I
How
have.
it's regular fruit
And then loops.
loops.
Well, if
But
that's
then-
if that's true, they missed an opportunity there because they should have done fruit loops.
Fruit Loops, which I think a while back I did do some research,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually did switch for brand name.
Okay.
To the double O's
Oh, when?
many decades ago.
Oh,
So like
perfect.
it's not that relevant,
Yeah.
but people still consider that.
Mhm.
Huh. So nothing that. Okay. It's interesting. What else? What else? On similar questions, favorite conspiracy theory.
Oh my god. Tim and I did a whole podcast about this.
By the way, for those of you unfamiliar, I mentioned Chargul's name on Friday's video. She was one of the people I texted.
Bad period. That was
She
me.
said bad, period.
Mhm.
But she also has a podcast, which I mentioned. And if you don't listen, do you want them to listen?
Sure. Sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. Should I dox it? It's-
Advertise it.
Advertise.
Oh, whatever you want.
Hey guys, it's called the BM and W podcast. You can find it on any podcasting platform. We just came out with episode 200 today. That I still have yet to.
100,
What I say?
200.
200. Oh, sorry.
You're not
I'm
boy
still
boy
on
level
boy,
yet.
Boy. Oh my god, speaking of boy, JC just texted me. Okay. Yeah, episode 100 came out today, so that's exciting. And yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Great, yeah, the 100 special, which
Yes,
is
big
awesome.
milestone.
Can't wait to listen to it, figure out what's up.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys pre-recorded it, which
Yes.
is out of the ordinary for you guys.
Yeah, because we usually record it Sundays at like 3 p.m. and we upload it the same day.
Yeah.
Sundays at
Whenever you guys are done.
when
And
when
editing.
we're done editing. Yeah, but there was one time where it wasn't exporting correctly, and Bim went to sleep on Sunday and
Right.
woke up on Monday, and it was still exporting, which was absolutely fantastic.
We love technology.
Love it, absolutely love it. But yeah, this one is one of the few that we have pre-recorded simply because we have so many special guests on,
Right.
people you know and love. It's gonna be great. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
absolutely. And why did you guys start?
How do we
Curious.
start a podcast? I don't really know. I think it was because Bim and I met basically during Annie,
Right.
a musical, and that's where we like started to become friends mostly, and then we did the fall show together, and that's when things like really took off. Like
Right.
all of our time was like spent together at rehearsal. And we were talking about, how we thought we were just hilarious with each other. Like, our conversations
You guys kicked
were
it off so
funny.
well, yeah.
Yeah. And so they were like, we should start a podcast because, like, Bim is a huge consumer of podcasts. She loves every podcast. And I was like, yeah, let's start one. I've always loved the idea of course, like, I had my YouTube channel. And podcasting just seemed like a lot less work.
Yeah.
And
A step in the direction for content creation.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And like just having fun, having a space to like talk and then upload those and remember the conversations that we had.
Like a journal, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
yeah.
very much like a diary, I guess now. But then it was also like an opportunity for us to like, I don't know, spend time together because
Yeah.
not that we knew that quarantine was coming, but I think it was like an opportunity for us to expand our friendship beyond like school friends.
Yeah, it does take it to the next
Yeah.
level. You guys are talking a lot more because of it.
Exactly, yeah. So, it was really cool to think about how we were still school friends. Like, we haven't even been to each other's house at that point. and we were like thinking about, let's start a podcast together for no reason.
Very cool.
I can't remember the first time I went to her house, but I imagine it was around the time the podcast started. So.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow! My thoughts just went away.
Disappeared.
Okay, well that's awesome. For the viewers, if you're around my, I guess, atmosphere of influence, you're probably more familiar with Gray and JC with their podcast with Boy Oh Boy. And so, in a sense, if you're debating on like whether you want to listen to Bim and W, they're almost tied with each other with lore stuff now, and so
I would go as far as to argue that Bim and W has more lore.
I think so too.
Like, because Boy just have jokes.
When you guys first started talking to each other, you guys uploaded a video where you said Bim and W is now a reaction podcast for Boy Oh Boy. It has flipped now. Boy Oh Boy is a reaction podcast for Bim and W.
Yeah, because like it started with us just like, we used to do topics every week.
Right, yeah.
And then it just happened this one week where we're like, let's just not have a topic. And like it started with us having the whole podcast. We were like alluding, like, the topic we're gonna get to is gonna be so great, so fantastic.
Yeah.
So like so it started very much with bits, where like we had bits, we had inside jokes, and then we just like keep going, because Bim and I are like really committed to the bit.
Absolutely.
Bim didn't pee for a whole day because she was committed to the bit.
Yep.
So then like I'm always into like things having like a story, like a whole background, whole arc.
Oh, absolutely. A great stories.
And it's so fun. Again, love improv.
Yes.
So it's like adds another layer to the creativity than instead of just having like album review podcast. But it's like album review, but also like, you know, what's going on underneath it. So it's always been really fun, and it's only been heightened since Boy Oh Boy.
Oh, absolutely. It's a different era now.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, that's pretty much how I know Chargul too.
Yeah, that's
through Boy Oh Boy.
I think our first interaction was when you sent me a clip of Steven saying that Bim was his favorite on the stream.
On his stream, yeah.
And that he was offended that I called him the other guy.
It's great.
I mean, it was just hilarious.
We all want to be our own main characters, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. It's fun. We love Steven. He's
Steven syndrome.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So that's the whole deal here.
Yes. That's who I am. That's who Bim and I are.
Everything you just heard, that is all.
That's it.
No more than that.
Goodbye, guys.
Back to our original question.
Conspiracy
Favorite
theories.
conspiracy theory. Please share.
My favorite conspiracy theory is that the rat from Ratatouille.
Okay.
So Ratatouille was based on the rat that started the Black Plague.
Okay, I haven't heard this one before.
Yeah, so basically it's like that there was like, I don't really know much about it. I just read it on an Instagram post once, where basically the rat, Remy the rat from Ratatouille, is based on the rat that started the Black Plague, and like the fleas on rats or whatever.
Okay.
Where he's the one that spread it, and like the way that he spread it was through like food. Like he lived in a restaurant basically, and it got in all like the food.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So the conspiracy is that he is based off of that.
Yeah, that Remy the rat is based off of like.
Wow.
Not like the Black Plague part, but like there's a rat living in a place where people eat food.
Of a kitchen, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Fascinating. That. Well, sometimes we'll never know what the writers think.
Exactly.
About
especially
how
Disney.
Especially Disney and Pixar.
I have one more conspiracy theory.
Okay, yes.
My favorite conspiracy theory, Bush did 9/11.
Okay.
But only one of the planes. And the other plane was just a coincidence.
It's just a coincidence.
Yeah, Bim was the other plane.
Bim was the other plane.
That's my favorite one.
Well, how would you factor in the third plane that like was intended for, I I think Pentagon.
Yeah, that's a great question. Haven't really thought about
Okay.
this. I imagine that one was real.
That one was also
Because, like, what's the significance of the World Trade Center as opposed to the Pentagon and the White House?
right.
Like, the Pentagon and the White House are very big government buildings where lots of government
That's
things
right.
happen and secret stuff. But then the World Trade Center, it was important, but it wasn't like a historical landmark, or it wasn't like a big attraction site like the Empire State Building.
I think it started becoming to be around that time,
Okay.
or like
Nip it in the bud before it
they.
happens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it is a unique architecture to have
Two of the same.
the Twin Towers essentially, and so people probably did
Yeah.
sightsee and all that stuff. So, but also like in the business financial world, it was big because
Okay.
it held so many offices for so many companies around the world. So,
See, I didn't know that. I was born in 2004. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
you know, I was almost two at the time.
Mhm.
I remember it all.
Vividly. No, I understand when people get angry that like kids make jokes about it, but it's like we have no connection to it.
I remember reading about how when is it an appropriate time to
Like, 20 years.
20 or 21 years. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's past
Yeah.
that time now. But also, it's the
Exactly,
environment. It's the
exactly,
environment. So
like-
like, be yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
My brother is a big fan of history, big fan of history memes, and there's a history memes subreddit where
Right.
they on the subreddit decided that 20 years after something happens, you're allowed to make jokes about it. So like every year on September 11th, there would be memes be like 2 more years, 1 more year,
A countdown.
It was like just a bunch of
My
variations
goodness.
of like when it's gonna happen. Like it was
That's
insane.
wow. Well, fascinating to hear that. It like even without just going too deep into it,
Mhm.
thinking that the second plane was
A
BIM,
coincidence? Yeah.
a coincidence,
Mhm.
also BIM,
Yeah. Also,
makes sense.
it could be.
Could be.
She's done some horrific things in the past. To name a few,
Unspeakable. Okay, well,
the
you're
Alamo.
speaking it now.
She has done, confirmed the Alamo, Abe Lincoln, JFK. She tried to assassinate 2 other presidents. Because 2 other presidents were almost assassinated. No, 2 other presidents were assassinated. I think.
Okay.
She did those. I don't know who they are. There was Andrew Jackson got into a duel with someone, and he got shot, but he didn't let the other person like see that he got shot, so he shot the other person and they died.
Okay.
Or died. That was Ben.
Ah.
So then also 9/11. She was January 6th too. She organized that.
Okay.
She hacked Donald Trump's Twitter and tweeted a bunch of stuff. So
With
she
the
wrote his
raids
press
and-
conference
okay.
thing. Yeah,
Wow.
that was BIM.
That was all BIM.
Confirmed just here.
Y'all heard it here.
I think they heard it here first.
The unspeakable has now been spoken.
It's been spoken into existence.
But yeah, so Chargul, she is such a fun time to just be around, and it's great.
Yay.
I would say that the New York trip
Mhm.
has been unlike any of my other vacation and trips that I've been on, which for the better.
Okay,
And it's
good.
been I'm thinking like it changed me, which
Mhm.
I actually do think it did.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say that it changed me, right? It's still
Yeah.
me. But I think one of the reasons we have VidADay now is because of the New York trip.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
I had a lot of personal thinking time.
That's good.
Yeah. And you guys,
Mhm.
you, Bim, Boy, and Steven, just contributed it without you
Yeah.
guys knowing.
Yeah.
But it's,
Oh, that's so good.
It's been a whole
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
Well, New York trip, for me, I guess. I don't want to butt in, but
Please, that was the end of mine.
Okay,
So,
good.
please
New
speak
York
on
trip
this.
for me, like I always, I've talked about this before, but I hold a lot of weight to the end of the year because like it's the end of
Right.
the year, but also end of my age because I turn the next age very quickly
Within-
into the next year.
2 weeks of it. Yeah.
So New York trip was in the weird, but in between time, like in between the years. So it was really exciting. That like it kind of set the tone. It was the jumping off point for most of the year,
Right.
and it was also like just one of the most fun trips I've ever had with like some like really cool people.
Absolutely,
which was
yeah.
so fun.
The thing that astonished me the most is Steven, Grayson, and JC. I had not met Steven or JC until the August before. And so New York trip would be the second time seeing them in person.
Yeah.
Grayson, he told me about the podcast, and like that was almost to the extent of like my communications with him until he started streaming. So, but before that, I barely like was part of their world until I would say recently.
Yeah.
Until at least late 2020. And then New York trip, I meet you guys.
Yeah.
Just, and it turns out that you guys are just wonderful people. You
Yeah.
weren't what is it called?
I don't know.
Catfishing us?
Oh.
Yeah, you guys weren't catfishing us. I mean, we had Discord calls and all this.
Exactly.
And I love these kinds of experiences because one video that I was planning on making back in freshman year of high school was me going out into the desert with, I think, 11 or 12 people I had never met before.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. Now, I wasn't kidnapped. I made the decision to go based on logical reasoning, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like offhand trip. But like, there were still people I had never met in person
Exactly.
before.
Yeah.
Maybe a few just to meet up, but the whole like clickbait that I would have done for it was something around the lines of going into the middle of nowhere with 12 strangers.
Yeah.
But like experiences like those I just really love.
Where you just kind of dropped into it.
Dropped
and
it.
like, yeah.
On circumstance. Yeah, exactly. So
And you just have to like figure it out.
my kind of message with that for you is you're going to move out of state for college. Wherever you go, have fun. Just
Yes.
have fun.
Thank you. I know I will, yeah. I think situations like the New York trip, and then also like going away for summer stuff, it's honestly, meeting new people is a muscle that you have to strengthen.
Oh, absolutely.
So like it's the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. The more you can just like turn to someone and say, "Hey, what's your name?"
Yeah,
Easy as
exactly.
that. "Hey, I like your shoes."
It starts
That's
with saying hey or hi.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to do that.
Exactly. No, and then everyone else is probably in the same situation. Like, I kind of want to talk to someone right now. So then, if you start the conversation, it's one less thing that they have to do, and then they like you for it.
And you'll never know where that goes.
Exactly.
So,
You'll never.
Precisely. All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to do some sort of improv or
Do I ever?
some fun activity? Do you have anything in mind?
I don't know. I pitched some improv ideas before, but none of them are really speaking to me.
Okay, for you guys, I'm going to pause the video right now, and we'll be back.
We will.
Guys,
I've decided.
check out my nails. Okay, we have decided.
Yes, I've decided I want to flip the table on Hans, and I want to ask him some questions. Mostly in the realm of music.
Realm of music. Okay. Side note. Quick side note before we get into this. So, I showed you guys Wordle on VidADay. I did a quick clip of it on the same video of the Battle Royale video. Wordle now has a parody called Birdle, and it is focused on choral music words only.
That is so cool.
So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, play it. it's also a lot of fun.
That is
Yeah.
so fun. I have not gotten into Wordle, and I do not see myself getting into it.
So, I've seen some of my friends like get into the, I guess, wrong realm of Wordle, where it's the spin-off games that people have just hopped onto the hype train for it. But the original is just a one-a-day thing.
Yeah.
And so, if you ever just bored, open it up, the website. It's just a website. You don't have to install anything. Open it up and play it. It takes like 5 minutes. So
That's so exciting.
it's not like a thing you go out of the way for.
Okay,
So, yeah.
love it. All right.
Go ahead.
Now, we all, well, they don't know, but we know. Something I love doing is making playlists for other people.
Yes.
So I want you to be my next victim.
Oh.
So I would like for you to describe some of your favorite albums, songs,
Yes.
artists. How would you describe your music taste? Give me the rundown.
Okay. The crazy thing is, so I was anticipating like what conversations we would have, because the only other like one or like full conversations we've had is on the Chargul episode for Boy Oh Boy.
Yes.
Outside of that, it was mostly in group situations, and so for one-on-ones, I was thinking, what could we be talking
What
about?
would Chargul ask me?
And this has kind of like been in line with me figuring out stuff with life. And I do think that a lot of people figure this stuff out much younger than how I am right now.
Yeah.
But at least I'm discovering it now.
Exactly.
But like music, I've always been a lover of music. I started doing piano since second grade. I've been in a realm for a long
Yes.
time.
Been there,
But
done
like,
that.
I would say my tastes, for the most part, until sophomore year of college, 2 years ago, have been just me saying, I am open to all genres except for straight on rap, hard rock metal, just kind of like uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's what I would tell people. But within the past, like, certainly within the past few months, and a little bit of the past year, I've been figuring it out. So recently, I've decided my favorite albums as of right now.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all can hear that. You're gonna have to get used to that if you move. Well, actually, that's something with all campuses, all colleges. But albums.
Yes.
My top two right now are "The Beautiful Liar" by X Ambassadors and Dawn FM, which is the new Weekend album.
Yeah.
And if you're already thinking like, why these two albums, you could probably see they are very, very much narrative oriented with their messaging. There's an overarching story with The Beautiful Liar, which, by the way, Beautiful Liar, they have a narrative podcast that goes along with it.
Really?
And season 1 just ended like before the New York trip. And oh my god, if you're into like mysteries, but not entirely mysteries, just a story to just want to listen to, that is it.
Oh my goodness. Please send
It's
this to
blend-
me.
I will
later.
send it to you.
Please. I love stuff like this.
This story is not entirely original, but like you get attached to the characters, and the final episode, it cliffhanger, it sets up the next season, and it's not what you expected.
That's perfect.
I love it. So that's The Beautiful Liar, and they of course mix in the album music into the story. Dawn FM, which only dropped like a week.
Yeah, I haven't gotten
ago.
the chance to listen to this.
It also has that narrative aspect with a narrator going through parts of the album, or like just speech areas, not music directly, but it works well with the music, and I love that. And between each songs, they flow. I love when songs
have the transition.
have a transition.
I love it.
It's the best. So those two albums.
Perfect.
Before that, I was very much into Len and Stella. Her album her only album 321, and if Len and Stella, the name, you might have heard of it. She was in, or she collabed with Chainsmokers for, I think, Takeaway, one of their hit songs. But I was obsessed with her.
I'm gonna start writing this down.
Okay, yeah. Or if you want, I can also send it to you. But then, also, I guess if you want to look into like my mind more recently.
Yes, please.
So something that I did that went along with like the I'm open to all genres.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if I hear it and I think it's not boring and it's just a good song, I'll add it to some playlist, and I have too many playlists.
You're talking to the queen of too many playlists.
Like, at one point I started doing categorical playlists.
Mm-hmm.
I had right now I'm on like the 35th playlist for the categories, and so if I find a song that matches any of those categories, I'll just add it to it.
Yeah.
At some point I also started doing monthly playlists, but they're unfavorable because it's just if I found a good song on Discover Weekly or
Mm-hmm.
Release Radar, I just add it.
Yeah.
And those playlists filled up way too much. They weren't like themed for that month or like
Mhm.
what I felt at that month.
Yeah.
This year though, January, I am proud of my January playlist.
Oh my god, I love it.
It's
You're gonna okay.
more catered to it, to like
Is it public?
it should be public. Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's called 22 Januaries for the because some parts of Spotify just alphabetize it, and so I like it when it's organized.
Yeah.
2022 January. And also I started doing this new thing because I feel like I'm now on a different path of life.
Mm-hmm.
Like for a few weeks before leading up to the New York trip, I started the Hans, or I think it's called Hans Chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I framed that period for early January up to, I think, 2 days ago, and now I'm on Chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
And those, I would say, were definitely in line with this period. Me,
Yeah.
as opposed to just topical playlists, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So, if you want to know, Hans Chapter 1 definitely still aligns a lot with me, and in a month playlist. Okay.
We're back.
We're back. So, we were talking about piano.
Piano.
We
Private tutor.
She was alright. She was talented with what she did. We didn't like her as a teacher. I think we moved out of an apartment into a house. We got another teacher. For a while, she was great, but then she didn't become great.
Mm-hmm.
We just grew up, and I ended up like finishing the Arizona music something program, where you go through all 12 of their levels before you graduate high school.
Okay.
And that helped with scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. But like a lot of it was also classical music. So I would say I'm trained in classical music. Or music history. And so getting into like more pop stuff, I didn't know how to do that. So eventually I figured out, hey, there's websites where I can download sheet music and play songs from there. So I did that. I tried. I ended up sticking with Pompeii by Bastille for my first big pop song. It's uploaded onto YouTube.
Oh my goodness, I'll have to watch it.
It's it's what you expect out of quality, like phone camera,
Yeah.
2013-ish
Wow.
quality. It loved it. Maybe 2015. I don't know. But like, that was still not me getting into the fully expressive arts outside of classical music. So, in another world, if I had been a little bit more explorative with myself, like junior high, I would have joined their jazz band. And leading into high school, I would have joined some sort of band, but I didn't. It was just outside of my sphere. So my best friend freshman year, we had, at the time it was honors world history. People now know it as AP world history. And he was already in band, so he was my step into marching band.
Band geeks, gotta love
Band
them.
geeks, which now I think a lot of my character today is because I did band. Do I like? People ask, do I regret anything? I wouldn't say I regret like starting band late, but like I'm glad I did it in the end. So that's how I got into more of the performing arts. And it turns out marching band is not just marching uniform, playing an instrument and marching. Even though I didn't march, I was in the front ensemble. There's still a lot of expression that goes into it. So there's that. At a time when the stress and drama was like at an all-time high for band, I was considering switching to the winter color guard. So that's the flags, rifles, sabers.
Yes.
And that was there was a good possibility that I went into that as well. So
yeah, well, also like band isn't just like playing instruments. There's like a whole like culture around it, and it's something,
full culture,
something you can't even explain. It's just like a thing. Like being in band is a thing. You know?
Yeah.
So like being a part of that kind of, not family, but like that part of community is like, it really helps.
With your local musicians, like the people you play music with, it could become a music family if you allow it to. So which I think it became a huge part of my high school self. But once I graduated, I cut it there.
Left those days behind.
I've learned enough. And
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
That's good. Absolutely love it.
And to return that back onto you, I know you've definitely talked about. You talked about in on the Chargul episode about how you got into dance. I remember that. So to not make this just sound like
Chargul Part 2.
Chargul Part 2. Go listen to that.
Maybe don't.
Oh yeah.
Maybe don't.
If I wanted to put in an effort, I'd put timestamps for you guys, but
No.
No.
You can't. View at your own risk.
Yeah, it's in a moment it was nicer.
Yeah.
But it does make sense why Boy is JC and then Grayson.
It's JC Grayson too.
Yeah.
Grayson as well. Yeah, and then he got offended when I said I want JC to host my podcast. I was like, Grayson, do you not hear yourself? It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. What was the question?
So it was. No, there wasn't one.
Okay.
It was just, hey, if you want to learn more about Chargul side,
Listen to the Chargul.
go for it at your
If
own
you want
risk.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can give them the gist.
Okay. Yeah. Please.
Well, basically, I started dancing when I was 4. So then
Very young age.
very, very young age, and I kind of grew up just doing that, and like as I said in a recent podcast, I was just basically coasting. Where like
Yeah.
go to school, go to ballet, go home, do whatever. Like I was just going through life. Like I didn't think about anything other than like what I was gonna eat for breakfast the next day.
Just
You know?
like go to school, and for me, practice 2 hours a day, finish homework, and go to sleep. That
Yeah, it was
it was
just like
that.
it was simple.
Yeah.
It was very simple. And then I started to have to think about things like actual things. And I think it all kind of started with me applying to the magnet programs at my high school. I think that's when my onset of stress started.
Okay.
Where like I had like things actually mattered, like grades actually mattered. What I did in school, what I did outside of school actually mattered. So when I was in 6th grade, I started doing musicals, and I didn't start thinking seriously about it until 8th grade. It was just a thing that I did. And then freshman year, I guess I decided. I never really decided that I wanted to get into musical theater. It was just a thing that I liked.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I was taking voice lessons.
Okay.
So I started taking voice lessons in freshman year, and then that I simply love my voice teacher. She is like the best person on this universe.
And you're still with her
still with her now
today? Yes.
Yeah, she's been like the greatest help to me ever.
It's awesome. Yeah.
She's the best. We just meshed like this. Her, me, and my mom were a trio to be reckoned with. So I guess like getting into singing got me more, I don't know, comfortable and stuff. And then I didn't like, I was still doing ballet, but it was something I never had much confidence in, and because I didn't think I was like good enough.
Yeah.
So that was difficult dealing with that. And I throughout high school, I always felt like I walked the line between musical theater and ballet, because I wasn't good enough to call myself like a theater actor, and I wasn't good enough to call myself a ballerina, like a dancer.
Okay. Yeah.
So I felt like I was always in between, and I thought that like even though I auditioned for things and I got in like everyone else, and I got scholarships and this and that, like I never felt like I deserved to be there. I always felt like I was just like their charity case that they brought in.
Okay.
So like
you weren't accepting that you were this
that I actually
fantastic.
did it.
Yeah.
So then like I guess I didn't really start, I don't know, I didn't think about it as like self-expression or like the arts basically until I guess like quarantine, because that's when I had like a lot of like character development,
Right.
a lot of plots happen, because I was like 17, I was like junior year, so like it was a big time of like self-discovery and stuff. So then that's when I started getting into music tastes. Like I started my monthly playlist in freshman year. So like the whole time I was like developing my music taste throughout that. And then like during junior year, I kind of saw how everything went together. So like music is kind of where it all started. It's just like the foundation of everything. And music like always tells a story. Words or not, always tells a story. And the way that you can express that story is in so many different ways. So if you dance to it, you're expressing the same story in a different way. And then if there are a song with lyrics, then like you can go into like what do the words mean, and then you can get into poetry and then reading, and then like then you could, it's just like it all connects, and it's just a wonderful little world. It's like a little
It's
circle.
always storytelling. It's why it's called performative art.
Exactly.
That's why it's called expression, expressive arts.
Yeah, so I think once I started thinking of dancing, singing, acting, playing music, all as under the umbrella of the arts and like expressive and stuff like that, and seeing that art isn't just like physical art that you draw, it's like self-expression.
Yeah.
So then I started to just enjoy everything so much more. I always enjoyed it, but it just like brought it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, you're yes.
Yes.
There's definitely stuff I want to say to that. Can't put it into words right now, but like I could shared the same experience with
Oh.
band too. Like outside of marching band season,
Mhm.
we had winter season, and for that you had to be lucky enough to go to a high school that had enough people for both drum line and a percussion
Mhm.
ensemble, and then good text teachers who would bring a show with your friends, your yeah.
You'll get there.
And so like every show there was a theme and a story to tell,
Yeah.
and we were constantly reminded like, hey, you're not just playing the music. Facial expressions matter.
Exactly.
Your body movement matters.
Mhm. It's an experience.
Like how you play instruments matter. Judges see that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think that really clicked with me until when I became the section leader and I had to relay that same information
Yeah.
to my fellow musicians. And so same thing
Yeah.
with
Yeah, I think the best way to like learn about your craft or whatever is to teach it to someone else.
oh yeah.
Because when I would teach little kids, it's like I learned so much about ballet teaching ballet. Like
Yeah.
I learned, like I would say stuff in class that I hadn't even realized myself. And like watching just like little kids dance, you're like, oh my god, this one thing makes so much more sense now. So it's just like teaching on its own. That's a whole other tangent. It's just the best.
When did you start teaching?
5th grade, 6th grade.
So what was that like?
So I started assisting.
Okay, so my phone's alerted us twice now that
Just
it's
too good at talking.
too good at talking. So many good conversations. And in fear of having another conversation cut off, we are going to wrap it up here.
No, you don't get to hear anymore.
Yep. One thing I wanted to also add, just to wrap it up, is I'm gonna need a lot of help with VidADays in the future,
of
especially
course.
if I'm gonna do
One per day.
just one per day. I'm meddling with the idea of handing off the responsibility for a few days to friends, but and I don't want to sign you up for that right
no.
now. But how about writing, like writing skits?
Oh my
and
god,
stories?
yes.
Or like just however you can help.
Of course,
Yeah?
yes. Just simply text me, say I need help, and then I'll be
Okay.
like, calling Hans.
Sounds good.
Han, calling the one.
Singular Han.
Han.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that, and in fear of this
It's gonna cut
ending.
us off.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.